Barakatuh, everybody. While we having our social distance and keeping the mask on, the good news is I am not going to need it, so I'm going to put it down to do my class. I just want to remind everybody to stay safe. Today we will continue our class with the book of Al-Jami', the last chapter or the last main chapter in a book called Bulugh al-Maram by Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala. And we are talking about al-birr was-sila, basically those who you are asked and recommended, or it is you are obligated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep in contact with. And we are about in the last 3 or 4 hadith in this chapter. And this chapter also talk about how we deal with each other. And the hadith of today, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة ومن ستر مسلما ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه أخرجه مسلم. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu arda narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if anyone relieves a Muslim believer from one of the hardship of this worldly life, Allah will relieve him from one of the hardships of the day of resurrection. And if anyone makes it easy for the one who is in debt to him, while finding it difficult to repay, Allah will make it easy for him in this worldly life and the hereafter. And if anyone cancel the faults of a Muslim, conceals a faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this world and in the hereafter. Allah helps his slave as long as his slaves help his brother. So Allah helps you as long as you help your brothers and sisters. Reported by Imam Muslim. This hadith is very clear why Ibn Hajar rahimahullah mentioned it when it comes to the book of Al-Birr was-Sila, dealing with people, because he giving examples of how can you be kind to others, and showing in this hadith examples of things they're not much to do, but there is so much reward for them. These things that you can offer people, things that can benefit them financially or just by helping them. And as we heard, this hadith is Sahih Muslim. And there is a missing part from this hadith. If you want to complete this hadith, there is a missing part, which is وَمَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. Anyone take a journey or a path to learn some ilm, knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give that person an easy way or access or path to Jannah. وَمَا اجْتَمَعَ قَوْمٌ فِي بَيْتٍ مِّن بُيُوتِ اللَّهِ يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَيَتَدَارَسُونَهُ بَيْنَهُمْ. And there is no group gathered together in one of Allah's houses, reciting the book of Allah, and they يتدارسونه, remind one another about it, the understanding, the studying it. إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة, tranquility will descend upon them. وغشيتهم الرحمة, they will covered by Allah's mercy. وحفتهم الملائكة, they will be surrounded with the angels. وذكرهم الله في من عنده, Allah will mention them to those who in His presence. And who's in Allah's presence? The angels and the souls of the prophets and the messengers. وَمَنْ بَطَأَ بِهِ عَمَلُهُ لَمْ يُسْرِعْ بِهِ نَسَبُهُ. And if your deeds will not advance you, your lineage wouldn't. So here in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam telling us that what can advance you in the Day of Judgment is not who's your father was, or what kind of social status you had, or title. No, it is your deeds that will advance you. وفي الصحيحين من حديث ابن عمر رضي الله عنه في البخاري مسلم, Ibn Umar reported that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Muslim is a brother to one another. لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه. That he will not be unfair to his brother, nor he will ever forsake his brother. ومن كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله في حاجته. As long as you helping your brother, Allah will be helping you. ومن فرج عن مسلم كربة من كرب الدنيا فرج الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة. And if you bring a relief to a hardship for a Muslim in this life, Allah will bring relief to you from the hardships of the Day of Judgment. ومن ستر على مسلم ستر الله عليه ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة. And if you conceal and you cover your brother's mistakes or sins in this dunya, Allah and not expose him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal your faults in the Day of Judgment and in this dunya. من نفس. The word nafasa, we mean bring relief. But nafasa comes from the word nafas, breathing. Which it means you are in a hardship that is preventing you from breathing. When you have a very hard, you're overwhelmed, you can't even breathe. That's why the Prophet nafasa, and you bring relief. So you know what, you're so relaxed. You remove that hardship and worries and anxiety. And also in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال من فرج يعني bring an absolute relief. So nafasa, if you want relief, maybe not the best way I will translate it, but I'll say nafasa, it will be relieving and or giving someone a break or giving someone a help or helping someone, giving someone a hand. But farraja, it means bring relief and release. It's more general than at-tanfis, which it means al-izala. Farraja, yani whoever basically remove that harm, remove that hardship. Kurba, hardship. And this hardship can be something financial, physical, or it can be something emotional. And min kurabi yawm al-qiyamah, one of the hardship of the Day of Judgment. As you brought relief to him in this dunya, Allah give you relief in the akhirah. And the Nabi said, وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ, whoever make it easy for someone in debt. Al-mu'sir, okay, the one who is in debt, in a great debt, I can't pay his debt or her debt off. Yassar Allah, I will make it easy on him in the Day of Judgment. And man satar, concealed, covered. As-sitr, it means covering. That's why the clothes is sitr, because it's cover you. Al-hijab is sitr, it is cover you. And whoever satara musliman, whoever covers a Muslim. And that means cover him literally by providing clothes to cover him. Okay? And also it could be intangible by covering his mistakes, covering his faults. Both meanings. Satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. Allah will cover that person in the Day of Judgment. And we all know on the Day of Judgment we will be resurrected naked. And people will be dressed and provided clothes according to their deeds. The first one will be dressed in this, all humanity will be Ibrahim alayhi salam. Then after that expected to be Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Anbiya and the Shuhada and the Siddiqeen. It depends on your status and rank and your level of iman. That will determine who will be dressed first. And satarahullah, Allah will cover you in the Day of Judgment. And also, if it is also applied to the intangible thing, Allah will cover your mistakes, not expose your sins. We all do things which is we're not proud of. We all do things that we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to expose it to people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not expose you in the dunya nor in the akhirah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Wallahu fi, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be helping his slave. Wallahu fi awni al-abd. Okay? Allah will be helping you, aiding you, madama, as long as you are helping your brothers and sisters. Helping them financially, helping them emotionally, supporting them emotionally, and supporting and helping them in all kind of help. This is a great hadith if we reflect upon. It's a great hadith to practice, to keep it as a guidelines for us or a guidance for us. This hadith, we can learn many things from it. Number one, this hadith reminding us that we are all brothers and sisters. That's why we should help one another. We should care for one another. You know, I don't care so much about what you say until I see you caring about me. Because we can say much more through our actions than our words. So this hadith teaches us this principle, that we show our caring and our love and the true meaning of brotherhood and sisterhood through our actions. Number two, also this hadith tells us that good deeds, something you will be rewarded for it in the dunya and also in the akhirah. Allah make it easy for him in the dunya and the akhirah. Allah can seal your faults in the dunya and in the akhirah. This hadith shows that it is so important and it is so rewarding. If you see someone in a hardship, someone in trouble and can't get out of trouble, and you are able to help that person to get them out of that trouble and to help them, that is something so rewarding by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by the way, this is one of the qualities of Allah. Allah is the one who helped those who are in hardship. Allah is the one who there for those who beg Him in a time of disaster. وَلَقَدْ نَادَانَا نُوحٌ فَلَنِعْمَ الْمُجِيبُونَ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَى مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُمَا وَقَوْمَهُمَا مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ. وسورة الأنعام قل الله ينجيكم منها ومن كل كرب ثم أنتم تشركون. In these three verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, a group of verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us that He is the one who save you and bring relief to you whenever you are in karb, in hardship. And that's one of the special quality of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You remember when Khadija radiallahu anha said, Ya Rasulullah, she said, Ya Muhammad, don't worry. When he first received the first revelation, when Jibreel came to him in Ghar Hira and he came scared to his wife Khadija, what did she say to him? She said, Kalla wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. Don't worry, Allah will never disappoint you. Allah will never humiliate you. إنك لتصل الرحم وتحمل الكل وتقري الضيف وتكسب المعدوم. This is the quality of someone who's there for those in hardship. You help those who are in need of help. You are generous with the guests. And you provide financial support for those who have nothing. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that the most beloved people to Allah, the most beneficial to people, and the most beloved deed to Allah, to make your brother happy, to put a smile on someone's face. أو تكشف عنه كربة, or if you can't put a smile on their face, at least bring relief and ease to them. تقضي عنه دينا, you pay their debts. تطرد عنه جوعا, you feed them. Then he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to walk with my brother, to help my brother and walk with him, more to basically be able to take care of his affairs, more beloved to me than staying in the masjid for a whole month. And whoever control his anger, Allah will cover their mistakes. ومن كف غضبه ستر الله عورته ومن كظم غيظا ولو شاء أن يمضيه أمضاه ملأ الله قلبه رضا يوم القيامة. and whoever control his anger. Again, and don't seek revenge, even though the person capable of revenge. Allah will fill the heart of such person rida, content. Allah will fill your heart with happiness because of the amount of reward that He will give you in the Day of Judgment. And if you help your brother until your brother finishes affair, and you give him support, Allah أثبت الله قدمه يوم القيامة. Allah will give you support on the Day of Judgment and give your feet support, so you stand in your feet. And you will not fall into the hellfire when you walk over the bridge. وَإِنَّ سُوءَ الْخُلُقِ, bad manners, corrupt good deeds, the way vinegar corrupts the honey. كما يفسد خل العسل. This hadith reported by Tabarani and Ibn Abi Dunya and Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah said it is Hasan. That's why ulama from the early time and the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the righteous people cared so much to help others. Can Hakim ibn Hizam cry and feel sad that the day passed by and he couldn't find someone who was in need of help to help him. He said, every day in the morning when I wake up and I find someone at my house needs help, I'm happy. But a day comes and I see no one at my door asking for help, I know that this is a musibah, this is a calamity. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me. Another point from the hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever bring a release or relief of a hardship. And Nawawi rahimahullah said, this is a proof that it is highly recommended if you know someone in prison and you can help that person to get out by paying off, let's say, to bail him out. Or someone, a ransom, let's say in the war. That will be a great reward for you because you bring a relief to that hardship. Or you bring relief for someone who has been taken by unfair or unjust rulers or system. You hire a lawyer to get that person out of that trouble. And that person are unfairly treated. That's why these organizations who stand up for the weak, stand up for the people who are treated unfairly, are included in this hadith according to Nawawi rahimahullah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring relief for those who stand up for those unfairly treated, and those who donated to them, and those who supported them. This hadith shows you it's a great reward to donate clothes. Sometimes we underestimate this type of sadaqah. Maybe your old clothes can be someone's new clothes. A sitter covering somebody's mistake. When we know somebody committed a sin, we don't expose that person. Unless that person sins or unless that person is dangerous. Someone deceiving, someone selling drugs, someone corrupting the youth, spreading bid'ah to people. Yes, but somebody did a personal mistake, a personal sin. We should not go and expose that person. And unfortunately, we're living in a time where a sitter is not something that's known in many culture today, unfortunately, because of the social media culture, that everything should be exposed. Everything. We're in a culture of, exposing the heading things, especially for famous people. You find people taking picture of them at their homes, who they are going out with, what's happened to them. Anything that is like, a news. The tabloid and this type of papers and magazines are all based on such concept, which is exposing people. It's a career today. While in Islam we are asked not to expose people's personal life and personal mistakes. Can you imagine today how people do that, going online and putting it on Facebook and social media and tweeting about it. And just when someone make a mistake, oh my God, that's it. And everyone talk about that person and ruin that person's life. That's not a good culture, not Islamic. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised those who gives, if I know somebody did something wrong, I don't go expose that person. For many reasons. Number one, we all make mistakes. Number two, when you expose that person, you normalize the mistakes. Number three, when you do that, what do? You make the community split because there's people who will stand up to defend him. And you might push him to start denying what he did. And that became another sin, which is lying. And digging more and more, exposing the person's personal life. Maybe you will ruin his family's relationships. And I know people get divorced, parents left their children, and children abandoned their parents because of some of these mistakes were exposed to the world. When you talk openly about people's mistakes, people are not going to take nasiha, they're not going to change. That's why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, part of his sunnah that is needed today, when he sees somebody making something wrong, he would say, "Ma balu aqwamin wa aqwam." Why there is some people doing this and that? And he will not mention their names. Compare this to the culture that we have today. Unfortunately, we expose not people's sins and mistakes, even sometimes when they do something that is halal, but maybe not something popular or commonly accepted in the culture. And it became put in a way that is the most evil thing. Shows you that it's not the proper etiquette to record people while they are not watching, to expose them without the permission. Exposing the awrah of someone is haram. And today, we talk about this, it reminds me of a video that circulated around recently of somebody exposing the awrah of the dead one. Somebody went to a funeral home and took a picture of the people who are dead, Muslims, and some of them, their awrah, thigh, legs showing, faces, which is haram. The dead should be respected. People should be, the dead or the deceased should be respected. Even people don't have Quran or Sunnah or Sharia or Islam, understand that. When they take a picture of people covered in bags from a distance, they show so much respect for it. What about you walking around, taking all these videos of the dead people around, and can you imagine if this is your brother, your father, your son? And it was a wrong thing to do, wrong thing to give him the permission to do that, and wrong thing for you to share such video online. That's exposing the awrah of someone. Taking picture of a Muslim sister who not in hijab and put it out. Like people take pictures in the parties and wedding parties, and there's a lot of muhajjaba not in hijab, and they put that out. That's haram. That's not correct. The hadith is showing the virtue of covering the person, not exposing. That's the opposite. This hadith also told us the importance of helping your brother with your wealth, with your jah, with your position. I can help you to find a job. You're a qualified person and I can help you to apply, to have an interview. That's not necessarily financially, but I help you through my position, through my connections. هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you from what you have given. Allah, the Prophet said, Ar-Rahimun yarhamhumullah. You're merciful with people, Allah will be merciful with you. Inna Allah muhsinin yuhibbul ihsan. Allah loves to give those who give. Those who cover people's mistakes, Allah cover them. Those who help people, Allah help them. Those who make things easy for people, Allah make it easy for them. Also, this hadith tells us that is a great act of worship and a great in virtue, and tundir al-mu'sir. When someone in debt and supposed to pay you back, and this person don't have money, that you give that person a break. And there is a great reward for this particular deed. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من أنظر معسرا أو وضع عنه أظله الله في ظله. You will be in the shade of Allah in the day of judgment if you help that person who in debt to you by doing one of two. Either to give him more time, more chance, or you reduce the amount. Said, hey, how much you have? Oh, I have only 20% of the amount. I'm fine. 50%, I'm good. How much time you want? I want 1 more year. Okay. Obviously without interest, without riba. عن بريدة رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من أنظر معسرا فله بكل يوم صدقة قبل أن يحل الدين فإذا حل الدين فأنظره فله بكل يوم مثليه صدقة. When you give someone loan, let's say this loan for a year, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said for each day in this year, for each day you earning 1 sadaqah, 1 reward, as if you're giving a charity. And if the time comes and that person doesn't have money to pay you, and you give him an extension, you give him extra time to pay you back, for each day after that, as if you're giving double charity, double sadaqah. Reported by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, and Shaykh al-Albani said it's authentic. And Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that the Prophet ﷺ said, there used to be a man, yudayinu nas, give loans to people. And he used to tell his servant, إِذَا أَتَيْتَ مُعْسِرًا فَتَجَاوَزْ عَنْهُ. He said, whenever someone comes back asking for extension or for us to reduce their loan, let him know that he is completely forgiven if he doesn't have money to pay me back. فَلَقِيَ اللَّهَ فَتَجَاوَزْ عَنْهُ. That person, when he met Allah after this person died, Allah forgave that person's sins. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and that hadith reported by Bukhari and Muslim, by the way. And hadith Hudayfa radiallahu anhu also in Bukhari and Muslim, that the angels will welcome the soul of a man who is from the nations before you. فَقَالُوا أَعْمِلْتَ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ شَيْئًا. Did you do any good deeds? He said, I don't remember. قَالَ لَا. Nothing really. قَالُوا تَذَكَّرْ. Try to think of a good deeds that you did in your life. قال كنت أداين الناس فآمر فتياني أن ينظر المعسر ويتجاوز عن الموسر. I used to ويتجاوز عن الموسر عن المعسر. I used to order my servants and the people who work for me, if you find someone in hardship and can't pay me back, either forgive them or give them extra time. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard him saying this to the angel, he said to the angels, let him go. He is forgiven. He is forgiven. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in hadith ibn Umar, من أراد أن تستجاب دعوته وأن تكشف كربته فليفرج عن معسر. If you want your dua to be accepted, if you want your hardship to be relieved, and we all in hardship today, فليفرج عن معسر. Help someone in debt. Help someone in debt. Al-ulama rahimahullah asked a question. They said, didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promise that one good deed will be multiplied to 10? من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها. In Surah Al-An'am verse 160, when you come with one good deed, Allah give you 10. So why here in this hadith, if you bring a relief to one hardship, Allah will bring a relief to one of the hardship of the Day of Judgment? And why not 10 of the hardships of the Day of Judgment? Al-ulama rahimahullah answer this by saying, here in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said, if you bring a relief to a hardship, Allah bring you relief in the hardship of the Day of Judgment, it doesn't mean one hardship. Or the number is not meant for itself. It means you bring ease, Allah bring you ease. It's not ease only in one hardship in the Day of Judgment, by He making the hardship of the Day of Judgment easy for you. And also it could be because one hardship in the Day of Judgment is equal to not 10 to hundreds of the hardship of the dunya. There's no comparison between the hardship of the dunya and the hardship of the akhirah. But in the hadith it's meant, the point is that Allah make it easy for you in the Day of Judgment, which is you need that relief more than anything else. This hadith also give the glad tidings of good ending, that you end your life in goodness, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you in the straight path until you die. If you do these things, if you are in the habit of helping people, why? Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring relief for you in the Day of Judgment, Allah will cover you in the Day of Judgment, Allah will give you all this reward for you in the Day of Judgment, that means you died in a state of iman. That means you continue doing good until you die. That's why you deserve all this in the Day of Judgment. And that's something some of the ulama rahimahullah mention as one of the lata'if, the hidden meanings in this hadith. Also in Sahih Muslim, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the Muslim is a brother for one another. لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه. That you will not be unfair or unjust to them, and you will not yuslimuh. Yani you will not lead this person to what will harm him. That you will not basically deceive the person. You will not mislead the person. You will not lead him to what will bring destruction to him. That means that you always help your brother whenever you see that you can help him. One of the blessings of Allah, that one of the things we learn from the hadith, that one of the blessings of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you capable or able to bring goodness and happiness to other people's life. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use you to bring relief to people. What a great reward, since we are in this coronavirus time. My friends and brothers and sisters who are in the healthcare work force, how much relief they are bringing to people, how much help they are bringing to people today, how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring through them so much goodness. That's unbelievable. Those who are helping others in this hardship and helping them financially, helping them psychologically, emotionally, even if they are your relatives, your spouse, your children, bringing sense of security when they are scared or afraid. That's a great opportunity for you to take advantage of these days. Also, this hadith shows you that we're supposed to help others not only in religious matters but also in worldly matters, in any matters. You don't only, some people get excited just because I'm helping someone to teach him Quran or paying for Quran teachers, but also paying for someone to finish their education. And في أمر من أمور الدنيا, and he help him in one of his worldly affairs, more beloved to the Prophet than staying in the masjid for a month. Helping someone, in a simple thing, maybe to help someone to change his oil. His car, the oil at his car. Helping someone to get a food. Helping someone to, maybe an operation or whatever, any matter. It doesn't need to be a religious matter. It's also something great and something rewarding. This hadith also encourages us to work hard to free the prisoners who have been put in prison unfairly. And there is not only individuals been put unfairly imprisoned, there is also tribes and a whole entire race, like what we saw in China, were put in under concentration camps, or being gathered and an ethnic cleansing. We saw this in the past and we're still seeing it. And if the world doesn't learn from this virus that no one deserved to be locked up, no one deserved to be treated unfairly. We're all human beings and we all share the same future, and we share the same past. We should care for one another. Also, this hadith shows that those who are obeying Allah in a time of ease, Allah will be there for them in a time of hardship. Those who were in the habit of giving sadaqah prior to coronavirus, Allah will grant them ease in the time of hardship as we are today. Whatever you invest today, you will see tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow in this life, it will be tomorrow when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So remember that. These are great lessons from this hadith we learned today, and we will call it for the night tonight, inshallah ta'ala. And next week we will be talking about another hadith in this chapter. Wa sallallahu sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad. I will see if there is any questions, otherwise we'll call it for the night. Do we have any questions, Kahari, from the Facebook? Or in the guys in here on Instagram, anybody has a question?
I know people probably miss your mask when you first put on, so give them that treat.
Say that again?
I said, I know they probably missed your mask when you first came on, the people came on.
Oh, my mask? This is my mask. Okay, I'm gonna go. Assalamu alaikum. I'm gonna go now. So I'm gonna leave. Here I'm recording this message, from the masjid, and I'm about to leave right now. So I practice my social distance. I take it serious. I hope I can protect my family, and whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed upon us is good. And I keep my mask on. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, it is in Wednesday, every Wednesday on 8:40, in 8:15, inshallah, we start around 8:15. We take one hadith or two hadith every week from the book of Bulugh al-Maram. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.